Hello everyone. So today we are moving to the next ode by Keats, Ode to Indolence, also composed in the spring of 1819, the time when he composed all his 5 to 6 odes. Okay, so Ode to Indolence. Indolence means leisure time, leisure timing, having no work but to rest and to keep lying in slumbering and drowsy mood. Right? So the poet just wants himself to be in indolence, to be indolent, lying without no work. So keep it in mind, note it. The poem reflects the poet's escapist nature. Keats is also known as escapist, and the students are asked to explain him as an escapist. So why disheartened, disappointed, unhappy with the treatment of the world, with the attitude of the society, with the pains and the grievances of his personal life, the poet escapes into the world of imagination, into the world of creativity, in the world of visions, and just wishes himself to remain into the same condition, into the same separated, sheltered world. So, Ode to Indolence is this one. The poem begins with a quote: "They toil not, neither do they spin. They do nothing, nor they do produce anything, but keep lying and existing." With this quote. So, one morn before me were 3 figures seen. One day morning, I was sitting in the backyard of my house in indolent mood, with no work ahead. One morn before me were 3 figures seen. I noticed 3 figures passing side by side in front of me, with bowed necks. Their necks were bent, bowing, they were bowed head, and joined hands, and each of the 3 were joining, clasping one another's hand, side faced. Since they were moving in circle, only the side portrait, side portion of their figure, their face was visible to the poet. So see the picturization, pictorial quality of the poet. And one behind the other stepped screen, and they were stepping up, moving one after another, behind one another, one behind the other, stepped serene, were very clearly visible. They were moving in circle, one behind the other, the 3, in placid sandals. Very calm, very quiet, they were stepping up, wearing the sandals, and in white robe graced. And they were dressed with the white robe. Now, white robe here signifies some spiritual supernatural element. Okay, it is not generally seen in Keats's poetry that he is like Coleridge, his contemporary. He is referring to the supernatural elements in no, he doesn't. But here he refers these three figures as some shadow, as some shadow. They passed like figures on marble urn, and these three figures in circle were passing in front of me like those three were the figures depicted on the surface of some Greek urn. So Keats is a Greek poet, despite not being the Greek. He is English, but he is poet known as Greek poet. Why? Because of his regular frequent references to the Greek mythology, Greek literature, Greek culture, Greek heritage. So here also again the reference to the urn. So these three figures were very much resembling to the figures depicted on the urn in Greek. When shifted round to see the other side, when these three figures were moving in circle, I could see the other part of their face once they moved ahead, one by one, behind one another. I could see the other part of their face too. They came again. For an instant, they vanished, but came again. But they again appeared in front of me, before me, as when the urn once more is shifted round, as if, since they are the figures, pictures depicted on the urn, so as the urn is moved around and the figures keep revolving, showing the other portion, other side of their physical constitution, in the same manner the other part came to be noticed, other side of these figures came to be noticed, as if moving on to the urn. The first soon shades return. The first seen shades return. One by one they were moving, and their shades of those three were following them, visible after them, behind them, and they were strange to me. Now the poet says that no, I could see that those are the shadows, and the figures have even attempted to dug into the identification, establishing their resemblance with the Greek urn figures, but he is not able to recognize them. Those three figures are still strange. They were strange to me, as may betide with vases to one deep in Phidion's lore. Betide happens to me, as may betide with vases. Vases means again the pot, the urn. These three figures were looking like, first, like depicted on the urn. Secondly, like those were the figures depicted, engraved on some pot, possibly made by Phidion's lore. Phidion, the Greek sculpture of a statue, or he may be, these three figures also may be the figures of the sculptures created, molded by great Greek sculpturist on its pot, on his urn. How is it? Shadows. How is it? The poet asked them to be away. How is it? Why you have come here? Why you have reached here? Shadows. You are the shadows, nothing more, not more than the shadows you are anything. Shadows that I knew ye not, and I haven't identified you, I haven't recognized you, then why you are disturbing me, appearing before me again and again? Why you are doing so? How came ye muffled in so hushed a mask, in so mysterious a mask, wearing such a mysterious mask on your face? How came ye muffled? With what purpose you have appeared, you have come to me with muffled face, with covered face? With what motive you have appeared? Was it a silent, deep, disguised plot? Are you knitting, conspiring some secret plot, conspiracy, scam against me to disturb me from my indolence? To steal away and leave without a task my ideal days. My ideal days, my leisure time that I am currently enjoying and passing on in. You have just, it looks to me, it appears to me, all you three have just come to steal away these leisure moments, this leisure time from me. Leave without a task. I have left this world without a work. I have nothing to do in this world again, and having left all the worldly tasks, I have moved into my own leisure world that is sheltered from the busy hustle bustle of the human society. So you seems to be here with a motive to steal my precious, luxurious leisure years, it seems. Ripe